Muslim forced down to do the unthinkable, and there is nothing that can be done to stop it. It has been established in an earlier post that Muslims were found to have a 30-year plan to take over the U.S. from the inside. It all started with the raid in Annandale, Virginia, where feds discovered mountains of evidence of a twisted plot for Muslims to take control. Up until the raid, things seemed to be working out for them as more Muslims had come to the country denouncing Sharia law. Now we know it is just a tactic known as Muruna, where Muslims are able to violate Sharia law in order to convince Americans that they are just like us. In addition to Muruna, their plans also included using political correctness to bully their way into positions of power across the country. You can thank the left for that. Now that they have succeeded in these areas, they are on to the next phase. They have now taken over an entire U.S. town and are ramming Sharia down the throats of Americans. What's worse is we can't do anything about it. Well, there is one way, but that time is coming if this keeps up. According to Freedom Daily, after years and years of fighting, 39 public hearings, and even the involvement of the Department of Justice, Bernards Township in New Jersey has just lost their long fight with Muslims trying to overtake their town with the construction of a mega mosque that was against city codes. So predictably, Muslims decided to fight it out in court through their local Islamic society, while screaming they were discriminated against. Disturbingly, not only did the Muslims win in court with suing the small town, but now Bernards Township will be forced to pay out a startling $1.5 million in damages to the Islamic Society and $1.75 million in attorney's fees and litigation expenses, which will now conveniently cover the entire cost to build New Jersey Muslims' mega mosque, which will span over almost 4.1 acres of property. Conservative Daily Post reported. A New Jersey township that stopped an Islamic society from building a mosque will pay the group $3.25 million, ending a multi-year battle that spanned 39 public hearings and included allegations of anti-Muslim animus. Terms of the agreement were made public Tuesday, about a week after Bernards Township voted to settle lawsuits brought last March by the Islamic Society of Basking Ridge and in November by the Justice Department. The settlement will completely devastate the local budget of the small town, but that doesn't seem to faze the lawyers who have fought on behalf of these Muslims, as this mosque will now be completely funded by the local community. This is disturbingly a pattern that this group has used in the past to threaten other communities facing similar actions. Muslim Adil Mingji, who led the charge in court, just gave a huge middle finger to all Americans, saying that his group has unlimited resources to continue battling similar cases in court. Municipalities around the country should pay close attention to what happened in Bernards Township. The American Muslim community has the legal resources, the allies, and the determination to stand up for its constitutional rights in court, and will do so. Muslim tactics are forcing their will onto these smaller towns by dragging them through extended court cases, where towns will then be forced to pay them off in form of settlements. Local authorities, in this case, had a very valid reason for turning down the construction of this mosque, as it violated their building codes and local laws. This had absolutely nothing to do with discrimination, as a local board member pointed out. Township spokesman Michael P. Turner said in a statement that rejection of the proposed mosque was based on accepted land use criteria only. He added that the township also denies the board's decision was discriminatory. The decision to accept the ISBR's terms and the DOJ's offer was not made lightly, Turner added. However, in our opinion and that of our legal counsel, settling represents the most effective path forward to mitigate the financial risk of protracted litigation as well as resolve the issue of the ISBR's proposed house of worship in Liberty Corner. Except for the deductible, insurers will cover the settlement payment without spending taxpayer funds, he said. It seems like this is another victory for the enemy on our own soil. The reason they were denied to build their mosque was simply zoning code and not discrimination, but they have figured out loopholes in the system and are taking advantage of them on a daily basis. While it's crazy that they can get away with it, it is really no surprise when liberal judges are constantly ruling in their favor. As patriots, It is important to continue to expose the truth, otherwise we may end up paying the ultimate price. It's time to stand up, America. This is our land and our forefathers fought and died for our freedom, and we are letting it slip away. What do you think? Sound off below.